Chords. They've stricken fear into the heart of many a brave soul. But I'm being so heavy-handed. Point is, chords aren't nearly as scary as you might think. The truth is, chords also come from our scales. I'll say that again. Chords also come from scales. So just as we had do, re, mi as individual notes, we can also have do as a full chord. The only difference is, instead of saying do, re, mi, we say 1, 2, 3 for the chords. If we're talking about our C scale, that was all white keys, right? So what I can do is I can take the note do, and instead of just treating it as one note, I can build a full chord off of it. I can play re as a melody note, but I can also play it as a full chord. I can go mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm just going through the scale and turning each individual note into a chord. Now, here's how you do that. We take our starting note, let's say we start on do, or 1, which is C, and what we do is this every other note kind of shape. That's all it is, so watch. I'm just doing every other note to get my chord. And the slightly more technical way to talk about that is we have what's called the root, or the starting note of the chord, and then we have the third, if I just count up 1, 2, 3, and then I have the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So it's root, third, and fifth is how we make a chord. So if you like thinking about it that way, you can think about it that way. If you'd rather just say every other note, that's fine too. It's the same end result. Now check this out. We did do, let's go up to re. Root, third, fifth, every other note. Let's go up to mi. Same thing, up to fa, sol, la, ti, do. And I would highly recommend at this point pausing the video and going through and trying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Now, that may seem really easy, but what we just did was absolutely monumentally huge. What we did is, instead of worrying about all the hundreds and thousands of different chords out there, we narrowed it down to the exact 7 that are the right chords in the key of C. So any song that's using a C scale, the chords are just going to be some version of those 7 chords. And if we take what I just played for you on the piano and we wrote that down, it would look like this. And these are what are called chord symbols. So don't get freaked out by these. We're going to talk more about chords later on. But for now, just know this is exactly what I just showed you how to play on the piano. And just like how painters have a certain palette of colors to work with to create a painting, what we have here is a certain palette of chords to work with to create a song. So if we look at songs that use the key of C, we'll find that these chords are, for the most part, all we need. So let's examine some songs together. And first up is All the Small Things by Blink-182. And the way they wrote it is they just did a C chord, then G, then F, then back to G. Then Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. This is a classic. And what he did was went from C to A minor, then back to C, back to A minor. So there, the beginning of that song is just 2 chords back and forth. Then Come Sail Away by Styx. This is a personal favorite of mine. I love this song. This is C to F to G and back to F. So as you can see, all of those chords were included in what we found a second ago. They're all chords from the key of C. And what's also crazy is, as we did these chords, did we have to stress and strain over, okay, is this major or minor or diminished or... No, right? The scale did it for us. The scale automatically guided us to the correct chords. We're still going to talk about major and minor chords later on, but that's just to show you how powerful pulling these chords from the scale can be. Okay, now let's keep on rolling. The C scale is the easiest one because it's all white keys. Now what makes it a little more difficult is if you have a different scale, you have to stay within that scale as you find your chords. I'll show you. Let's say we go to the G scale. And remember, that G scale has F sharp built into it. So as we do our chords, we have to remember that. It's not F natural, it's F sharp. So here's G, that's do. Let's turn it into a full chord by taking every other note. There we go. Now let's go up to re. Same thing. Let's go up to mi. But now here I would have F natural. So instead, I'm going to stay within the scale and do F sharp. That's my 3 chord. Then my 4 chord, my 5 chord. Again, here I would have F. Instead, I'm going to use F sharp. Then my 6 chord, then my 7 chord, and again I'm just doing the every other note shape, and then my 1 chord, every other note. All together we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Those are all the right chords in the key of G. Alright, same exact thing. These are the chords that we just played in the key of G. And if we look at real songs that use the G scale, we're going to find that the chords are there for us. First one is Good Riddance by Green Day, also known as Time of Your Life, and that starts on G, then goes to C, and then goes to D. Shake It Off by T-Swift, that starts on A minor, then goes to C, and then ends on G. And last one is Brown Eyed Girl, that is G, C, G, D. Now that's not to say we can't use other chords, of course we can, but I want you to think of this as your starting point. And there's actually a technical name for what we just did. These are called diatonic chords. And all that diatonic chords are the chords that naturally come out of a scale like we just did. Recap, chords come from our scales. Instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, all we're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, to make those chords, you just take every other note, and keep the scale in mind. If there are sharps in the scale or flats in the scale, remember those sharps or flats when you make those chords. Your action step is to find your diatonic chords in the keys of C, G, and F. So again, you're finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in those 3 different scales. And again, what we're accomplishing by doing this is cutting away the guesswork. We're not worried about the hundreds and hundreds of different chords floating around out there. Instead, we're finding the exact 7 that we need for whatever key we're in. Alright, let's keep going to the next section.